everyone, welcome to my channel. This is your girl Empress Charm, and I'm here today to discuss with you about gestational diabetes. Yes, I had gestational diabetes with my second born, and this was not a pleasant experience, but it does affect up to 10% of pregnant women in America, and it is a test that is taken during your 24th to 28th weeks of pregnancy, and it is where the first test is two rounds of tests. At least at my OB, it's taken twice. So the first test is a 1 hour test where they test to see your glucose tolerance, how high your blood sugar levels are. And mine was good for the first test. I was good and I was okay. But the second test, where they do a 3 hour test, it was I couldn't eat from the midnight the day before, and when I go, I had to take the test in three intervals, and the first two I flunked very badly, and the last one I passed. So once you flunk two, you have to pass 2 out of 3. So because I flunked two, I was considered to be having gestational diabetes. Now, as a result, they have two types of gestational diabetes. One is the A1, and then you have the A2. The A1 is where they will put you on the diet to control your blood sugar. And the other one, A2, is where it is so bad that they have to put you on insulin. So thankfully I was A1, where I didn't have to go on insulin. They did at one point checked to see if I may have to go on insulin because I could not control my fasting levels. So I had to make a log of my food, every food that I ate, for four times per day. So I had to log what I eat daily, and they gave me recommendations of the types of food to eat. And one of the type of food my doctor said to avoid totally was white foods. Avoid all white foods. And yes, I did avoid all white foods as a result during that time, because when you're pregnant, you're just all about your baby. You want the health of your baby, the health of your child. And I made sure that I stuck to that diet. It was really hard, but what I did was follow the suggestions or things along that line. So she said avoided all white, so that includes white rice, of course white flour, and if you know us Jamaicans, we love our starch and we like our dumplings, and of course anything that's of course yummy, and usually the things that are sweet are not the ones that are good for us. So I avoided that as she suggested, and I was also alarmed into doing it because at one point when I go to my OB, I did not see my regular doctor that I love so much. She's Dr. Shimura from Puerto Rico. She's excellent. She's like the best. And I had to see another doctor at the clinic because she wasn't available. And when I went in to see that doctor, because I had to bring my logs daily to show them what my logs are, because I had to prick my finger. So they prescribed the glucose test where I had to buy the lancets, that the little needle thing, to prick my finger, and the reading chart that I put the when you prick, put the blood on the chart to check, and it was my fasting level. So when I wake up before I eat my first meal, that one that you check, it would just not go down. So I end up being put on, I think the medication is called glyburide. So I had to take that every night, 9 o'clock before I go to sleep. I had to take that to bring down my fasting levels, because the others were fine because I ensure that I eat, but I don't know, for whatever reason, it just wouldn't cooperate, and we wouldn't go down. So my doctor says I had to watch that. So I made sure that I I followed their instructions, and as a result too, I had to check from all the weeks leading up to delivery. I had to do a non-stress test. So every time I go to the office, I have to do an hour test where they check for the baby's heartbeat, because one of the things that that doctor I was telling you about that I saw that I wasn't too fancy of, what she did when I went when my regular doctor wasn't available, is she's like, your numbers aren't looking good. Do you know what do you know what GD caused? Stillbirth. And I'm like, you know, I understand that she wanted me to take this thing serious, which I was, but it wasn't any fault of mine why the numbers weren't going down, and I may have to put you on insulin, which I didn't want to hear, because you know, we have diabetes on both sides of my family, and I do not want to continue that tradition. I break it. And she was like, I'm stillborn. And then no woman wants to hear that, because during pregnancy you worry the entire time. You're just like, am I sleeping in the right position? Am I eating this? Is this gonna affect the baby? So it really bothered me. So that even forced me even more to eat better. And when she did, I did do research, and that's one of the things. So one of the reasons why we have to control our blood sugar levels is because eating a lot of sugar, consuming that, you know, it makes us bigger, and as a result the baby will be bigger, and then if the baby is too big, then it can be a problem, and that baby too can born with diabetes. So as a result, I had to just follow it. It was really hard, but you know what, I want to live long to see my kids grow healthy, and I know that in order to do so, I just have to eat right. So she recommended, after I had the baby, to continue this meal that I planned, that I was on this diet, continue, because I'm at a higher risk of type 2 diabetes. So when you get gestational diabetes, you're usually at a higher risk of gestational diabetes, and as a result, I have to continue doing that. So what do you do? All right, so what I do now, because in my family we have a sweet tooth, especially my husband. So he likes like macadamia cookies and everything. So what I try to do is make alternative to those things that he likes to eat, so that we can, but in a healthier version. So one of the things that I like to do for my quick go-to snack is the peanut butter oatmeal cookies. So it's like 4 ingredients, real simple. And the sweetener that I use is the monk fruit sugar. My cousin recommended. They have a variety of brands. You can see right here, it said it's 100% sugar free, and this is what I love about it. You see the color, the brown sugar, like we know that the regular sugar cane. That's this is what I use. You use it as a regular sweetener, and you see here it tells you that it's excellent for baking, and it's also good for cooking. So, and it's GMO free, gluten free, and all those fun stuff. But I use this as my sweetener. I sometimes use, when I want a little flavor, I use the coconut sugar. As you can see, it's almost done. I use this as a sweetener, because I oftentimes bake, almost every week I bake banana bread, and I bake the cookies. I'll bake sweet potato pudding, you know, Jamaican desserts. So I do that all the time. And then the flour that I use, I got it all off Amazon, and this is the almond flour, and it's also excellent for baking. I use this as well, and this is, even though it's white, it's healthy because it's a fruit that made it, and all it does is they just basically blend or grind the almonds, and that's it. So I use these alternatives for the reason why I use this a lot, especially for my banana bread and any other of my desserts that I look about, is because this, you can use as much of it and it does not spike your sugar. My cousin told me about this, and I haven't looked back since she mentioned it. So I use this a lot in my baking. So it's something that you could consider if you're pregnant and you have gestational diabetes, or if your family has a higher risk of getting diabetes, you can use these alternative sweetener, because we all like our little sweets now and again, and nothing's wrong with that. It's overindulging that actually cause these things to develop into these lifestyle diseases that we don't want. Because the fact is that if we want to live longer, we have to live healthier. Health is wealth, and that's what we want. So, for, as I said, GD is very common. Most times it's not anything that we're doing. For me, it was what I was eating, unfortunately. And then sometimes the doctor says the pancreas just doesn't cooperate, the placenta doesn't cooperate as well with your blood sugar, your insulin, and as a result, that's why some women end up with GD. And it usually goes away after you have your baby. I don't have it now, but she did want me to go again and do a test to confirm that I don't have type 2 diabetes. So it's something that I want to talk to you about, as promised in my first video. And this is something that you could also employ in your daily life to control what we eat. There's also the chocolate chip that I like to put in my cookie, but I haven't yet bought a rebatch. It's the semi-sweet vegan chocolate chips, so you can use those as well to get a little extra sweet in your desserts. When you look about those, they're really, there's no difference. I use it for my cornmeal porridge, my oatmeal porridge. I use it all the time. The monk fruit sugar, and it's really helpful. The monk fruit sweetener. Sorry, it's not a sugar, but it's a sweetener, and it's really good. So I was happy when she told me about it, because I haven't looked back, and my family, we're trying our best to be healthy, because I have boys, and they do keep me on my toes. So that's it for gestational diabetes. Like, share, and comment. Thank you for watching. Please comment below if you've had gestational diabetes. What was your experience like? Did you go on to have type 2 diabetes? I hope not. And share, comment below. And please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching.